What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another review. Now, today we're going to be reviewing a film that is going to be releasing October 30th. It's going to be releasing on Netflix, and it will be releasing in some theaters. And if you are lucky enough to see it in the theater, I would highly recommend that you go out the way and do so, because I think this would be absolutely phenomenal theatrical release of a film. And I think, considering it's coming out October 30th, it is well timed and well deserved for its release date. And this film is His House. Now, I really like this film. I've seen a lot of horror films this year, and number one, it's good to see Netflix kind of throwing their ticket into the game here with their horror film for the season, because a lot of other streaming services has been thriving really well in their in the horror genre. Netflix hasn't really gave out too much, so this was a really big one to really make a statement for them. And it's because everyone's looking for their next horror watch or horror binge, whatever it may be. So, and this is a film that I just, before I even get to the review, I'm going to recommend that you check out because I liked it. But the first thing that really stands out to me is the visuals. I absolutely love the visuals. I love the visuals from the makeup, the costume, the low light shots, some of the shots that's not really practical, but they just make it look amazing. There's some water shots. Again, like, there's just so many different shots that are just really well done. The cinematography was just really, really good in this film. I loved it, and it's super important and clutch for any film to have good cinematography, especially in a horror film that really drives off that, that jump scare tactic. But it has to be visually pleasing in order for it to work. And this one really, really nails it. And along with that, you have a script that the leads were just absolutely able to work with and just kill it. Because the two leads, Sope Dirisu, who's in Gangs of London, and Wunmi Mosaku, who is in Lovecraft Country, the two of them together just takes this movie to the next level. They play off each other really well. They heighten all of the urgency within each scene. They heighten the horror, the drama, the suspense. They just really work really well together. And on top of that, they show amazing poise and emotion in the scenes that they absolutely had to. I just can't stress enough. They absolutely killed it. And good for them, because this year they've been both kicking butt on television. And just good to see them, this is a match that just would have never, ever thought to put together. And then here we are. It just really, really works. But let me kind of get into what this film is about. So you have two immigrants who are fleeing a war-ridden country in South Sudan. I mean, they first escaped by truck and then by boat. And I mean, this journey is just amongst, and you can imagine, just like any immigrants trying to flee a country, they really go through all of the trauma and all of the dangers that you would expect. Meanwhile, during this transportation or commute, trying to flee the country, a lot of people didn't make it, including their young daughter. And the vessel that they were traveling on didn't make it, and they was washed upon shore in England. They were then taken in by taken in by their immigration, and then detained, and then eventually released and given a house to kind of, they're not citizens, but to kind of make do. So to make this very clear here, they're given a house and they're given tons of restrictions of things they cannot do, but they do have a house and they're going to make it work. Thus, this is why it's their house, because they're going to do whatever it takes to make the living work. Well, yes, this movie, they do quote this being their house a very, very lot. However, as you know by the title, it's his house. And you're wondering who it is that we're talking about. It is the entity that occupies his house, because he's making claim that it is his house and he's not happy by anybody being in it. Now, upon them moving into this house, the people that helped them with it, the administration, the immigration administration, they praised this house. Now, the house wasn't by all means in the best shape. It had bugs and all that other good stuff, and it had a bunch of visual damage. But it's a big house, and it absolutely suffices for two people, even more. So it's a huge house. So it is a tasking to trying to make it their own as far as the repairs, the cleaning up, and all of the good stuff. But yes, it is their house. But again, they're giving them praise like, hey, you know, this house is bigger than ours, and it may not look like much, but there's a lot of potential here. But this entity that's haunting this house is doing whatever it takes to get them to leave. So they're dealing with that. They're dealing with the trauma of fleeing their country. They're dealing with the grieving of losing their daughter. They're dealing with the idea, or they're dealing with being being foreigners in another country. They're dealing with the entity. They're dealing with conflict amongst each other because there are disagreements on the things that they're dealing with. So this couple goes through a lot, and the entity is not holding back from them. And it's a really good story because you see the two of them again play off each other really well. And like I said, as the film grows, as you get deeper into the film, everything just intensifies, and so does the emotions, so does the acting performances and everything. It just really compiles really well together, and you can't help but to feel for this couple. But at the same time, you're very much aware of the things that are happening in this house that is driving them kind of crazy and apart. And as for viewers, it is like, again, the visuals are so good. So you really are going to be at the edge of your seat from the things that are coming at you. Again, some of these low light shots, the jump tactics and scares, the chilling sounds, it just really comes together really, really well. But it's a really good story, and you will definitely want to go out the way to watch this. It's about an hour and a half. It's on Netflix. Everybody has Netflix, but if you have an opportunity to see it in theaters, depending on where you're at, this is something that I would definitely go out the way and see, because I think, again, just for the basic film elements, it does really well. But then when you have a story as such, considering that it's a horror, it's a haunted house horror thriller, and, you know, perfect time of the season to watch. So, and then you have two tremendous leads who just kills their roles. It's a great movie. It absolutely is a great movie. I really highly recommend that you watch it and tell other people to watch it, because they will enjoy. But as always, folks, after you check it out, come back in the comments and let me know what you think. If you've seen the trailer already, then let me know what are you excited for this? Are you going out the way to watch this? And otherwise, folks, stay tuned because more reviews are coming very soon. Thank you for watching, everybody. See you soon.